I'm Ready to Cook with ECP-TV, and I am sitting here today with Patrick Wilson, the District Attorney for Ellis County. He has come on to co-host with me, and I'm so happy to finally meet you. We've seen each other a couple of times. Is that a fedora is what you wear?
Yes, a straw fedora. It's kind of my thing. It's even on my my iPhone emoji is my fedora.
I like it, yeah. I was telling somebody, I don't know anything about him, but he wears a fedora, so he's got to be cool. So, thank you for being here. So first off, let's just talk a little bit about, let's just talk for a little bit about the fact that you're leaving in 6 months from your job. How long have you been the district attorney?
This is my 10th year, but I've been in the office, this is my 22nd year that I've been in that office. And I've been in this business in one form or another for a little over 27 years now.
Wow.
So it's
So
enough.
it's time for a vacation?
I've been in the criminal justice field for about 27 years now, so
Okay.
enough's enough.
What are you going to do now when you're done?
I honestly don't know what I will be doing about 6 months from now. I got to figure it out. And so, it's kind of hard to apply for a job 6 months in advance. I don't want to hang a shingle. I don't want to do criminal defense. I don't have any problem with people who do that. That's just not what I want to do. And so
Okay.
I want to find a different path,
Oh,
whatever
wow.
that may be.
Well, that's cool. I want to hear what happens.
If you've got any ideas, let me know.
Well, I would say travel the world, but we're not doing that right
Yeah,
now.
no kidding. I do like travel too. So.
Yeah. So I guess let's first of all talk about, so in the paper we had a mandatory mask order in Dallas. I live in Oak Cliff in Bishop Arts. So I know Ellis County hasn't actually had this mask order, and I'm hoping that they don't, because I don't think that you guys are going to do that out here. But
I doubt it happens.
for me, I feel like it's hurting a lot of business. So sort of the economic, and like, because when I went into the restaurant last week into Gloria's, did you go to Bishop Arts ever for dinner?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't
So you
in
know what-
months. No,
yeah.
I'm quite
Well, if you
familiar
do,
with
take a
Bishop Arts.
mask.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm sitting there telling the manager, you're breaking the Constitution, and he's just like looking at me like he doesn't care. So it's like now there's money that's going to come out of these businesses when they're already having problems with COVID.
Well, what that's called in legal circles, that's called the velvet glove on the iron fist. And so that's what has happened. And the restaurant owners are really in between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
Because their local regulatory body, the county, has said, if you don't do this, we're going to fine you. And so they're already struggling financially.
Right.
It's kind of hard for them to say no to that. I think it's unfortunate that this has been done in an end-around approach.
Yes.
I mean, if government wants to do it, then do it. Order people to do it, but they don't want the blowback on that, obviously.
Right.
And so I'm a little frustrated by that as well.
But can they really even find the business? I mean, if every business said no, there's no way they can go to every business and say, you're fined $500, because I would basically just say, you know what, get a life, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like trying to catch every speeder on the highway.
Right,
There's
you're
no
not
way
going to do
can
it.
happen.
Like
Right.
when I was trying to get here earlier and I was going about 80 in my little Jeep because I knew you were already here.
You just outed yourself on that.
So anyway, I think that you guys seem to have it's a very different atmosphere in Ellis County and in Dallas County, even though
in many respects.
Yeah.
In many respects, for
So-
sure. I think you would even find a different attitude between Dallas and Tarrant County on
Yes.
a lot of things.
Right.
I've long said it's interesting. Ellis County, I was going to say Waxahachie. Ellis County is sort of, we have a natural connection to Dallas County because of I-35.
Right.
But for years, I've always told people, I think culturally we're more aligned with the 287 corridor.
Okay.
Up to Tarrant County.
Oh,
Although
okay.
that's not the natural kind of, that's not the gravitational pull that we
Right.
get drawn into. But I
Right.
think culturally, Ellis County is a lot more similar to Tarrant County than we are
Okay.
Dallas County.
That's a good point. I grew up in Dallas but moved away, but I never went to Tarrant County. Like if you were from
Yeah.
Dallas, it was like, no, you don't want to go to Fort Worth.
And
Those
so,
people down
right.
there.
So they're vastly
Right.
different cultures, right?
Right. Well, so you're from Waxahachie, right?
Mhm, born and raised.
Okay, all right. So what else is going on? Let's see. There was the commissioners are asking to lead the fight in property tax reform. What do you know? What do you want to say about property tax? Since I know you have a house in Ellis County. So what are you thinking about property tax?
Look, I get just as frustrated as everybody else with the property valuations. I think the tax system in Texas is a nightmare. It's a mess. I think there needs to be major reform. I don't know when or if there will ever be, the political will to engage in major reform. But look, I get those notices just like everybody else that go, my valuation has gone up to what?
Right.
And the commissioners, they don't have any authority to change those valuations.
Right.
They can change the property tax rates, and so can your municipality and your school districts.
Right.
I'll admit, from a career county employee, though, I've often said that the county county is sort of the redheaded stepchild of local taxing entities, and I have two redheads, so I can say that. But in that, it's the smallest portion of your tax obligation.
Right.
But the county seems to get the most grief over it, whereas the school district is by far the lion's share, and the schools seem to get away with murder oftentimes, and that's my frustration as a county employee.
Why do you think that's happening? Do you have any idea?
Well, I think there's two factors. The schools, it always comes down to with the schools, and I have very good friends in the school business.
Right.
It comes down to it's all for the kids, and so that provides a blanket of insulation a lot of times. But a big factor, the biggest factor, I think, is the fact that the county is operated by partisan elected officials. And your cities and your schools, those are nonpartisan positions.
Okay.
They're also controlled in more of a pyramid fashion. Your nonpartisan people get elected in your cities, your city council and your school boards. They then go hire a city manager or an administrator, and it's much easier to impose policies and procedures than it is in a county model, which is remarkably inefficient, but it's that inefficiency, I think, that keeps the taxes down, where you have 24 independently elected officials. So it's a quick hit. That's a quick civics lesson.
So yeah, do you think kids are going to go back to school in the fall?
I think they will. Yeah, I think in Texas they will. I was just reading about some of that before we came in here, and I think there's just such a strong clamor for people to get back face to face. I think at some point you got to damn the torpedoes and see what happens, And I think there's an increasing body of research about the possible psychological damage to kids in isolating them from each other, and so I'm hoping that some common sense will prevail. I know, we did distance learning in my house. I've got two going into junior high age kids, and it's hard on them, and it's just not effective. I think they're proving that too over and over.
That is so true. I hope they. I've seen a lot of trouble with kids because there's so much just psychological damage, in my opinion, right now that's happening.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I was telling my friend, because he was having trouble with his daughter. It's like, this is our, I hate to say new normal because nobody wants to hear that, but it is sort of a new normal. And the kids, I guess, are luckier because at least they can start from scratch. We're older, and we're like, this is our new normal. What happened to the life we had?
Well, and sure, kids are remarkably resilient. We all know that, and it's amazing what they can adapt to. But I do agree there's some possible long-term consequences of isolating these kids for so long. I mean, who knows what we're creating somewhere down the road.
It's really scary. And the other thing is, I think a lot of parents didn't realize what little brats their kids were. I'm sure you have good kids. I, for some reason, feel like you might.
My wife has been the saint, honestly. She's the one who's had to do all the heavy lifting. She already worked from home.
Wow.
And then suddenly became the elementary school teacher. I never stopped going to the office for the most part.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. All right.
So the day that this all started in March, I immediately declared 4 essential employees in my office: me, my first assistant, my office manager, and my chief investigator.
Okay. And
we've been coming to the office virtually every day, and we've created some systems of rotating staff and remote working. So I've kind of been the family sentry who's been out and about while my wife and kids stayed home.
Wow, but I know I was an essential employee, and I made sure everybody was I've been out every day since the whole thing began.
Out and about, huh?
Yeah, because I've just called Social Butterfly 3 times this week, and I'm like, yes, I need people in my life.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I am. It's really hard. I really do think there's going to be a lot of weird things happening if COVID even ends, because weren't we supposed to not have COVID after the weather got warmer?
Yeah, that's what some people thought. And in the southern part of the country, that it wasn't going to bother us as much.
Right. All right, well, we only have 2 minutes. Do you have anything else to say? I'm so happy
we didn't even get a chance to talk about the Chaz or the Chop or whatever you want to call that anarchy up in Seattle.
Tell me what you think about that really quick.
I think it's anarchy. I think it's a horrible sign of the future, and it's appalling to me that the police and that the city leaders just backed away from that. And did you see the video of the guy who got robbed while he was doing the live stream on Twitch? And,
oh no!
Yeah, he was hailing the beauty of this scene, and he literally got knocked down and punched, and something grabbed and taken away, and he yelled like 100 times, "Thief! Thief! Thief!"
And it's 6 blocks, right? 6 blocks.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so I don't know what's happening. I don't think that's going to happen in Texas.
That'll be next week. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, will you come on and be with me again?
Depending on what the schedule is, yeah, sure,
okay.
I'd love to.
Everybody heard that. He's going to do it. Okay, I'm Rita Cook. This is Patrick Wilson. I'm really so glad that we got to do this show.
That was quick.
Thanks for watching.